and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to teach you guys how to make a rope halter for Breyer or Schliech horses, or really any model horse. Obviously, the bigger the model, the easier it's going to be. I will note that I'm going to give complete credit to, I forgot her name, but I'll leave her in the description below. I totally got this method from someone else on YouTube. But I just wanted to make my own little gist of it. And another reason is because every single video I watched on how to make a rope halter for a Breyer horse, they tied the freaking rope halter wrong. And when I say that, I mean how you tie them in real life, which I think is great practice if you plan on owning horses or plan on buying a rope halter for your horse, is if you just practice doing it on your Breyer horse. That way you can get used to the feel of it. But this is basically what it looks like. And to undo the rope halter, you just slide this through and it goes out through the loop. And that is exactly how you tie one in real life. I've seen people doing all kinds of crazy things to tie that top part, but then you just pull it off like that. And then that's the rope halter. It's very, very secure and held together. And that's the reason why I like doing them on Breyers more. And I also did this with a little chain part. Now obviously, since this is a toy figurine, the way you tie your rope halter really isn't that essential. But if, you know, a lot of people that own these horse figurines, they plan on getting horses themselves in the future, or they already have horses. So I just want to teach you guys the way to properly tie this if you were to do it in real life. So the first thing you do is you put it through this loop, like so, and then you can tighten that. I have it loose at first though, and I tighten it at the end. And then, so after you've put it through this loop, you're gonna wanna take it towards the eye, and you wanna go below the loop. A lot of people I see in real life too with horses tie it above the loop. That's wrong. The reason you don't tie it that way is because basically on a real horse, if you were to tie it any other way besides this way, if the horse were to pull, it would become loose like that, or it would constrict its head. So basically when you tie the rope halter this way, it keeps its shape and it will never come undone unless you purposely try to do that. So you want to go towards the eye, under the loop, below the loop. I'm having difficulty here. And then once you got it like this, you just take it back through this little hole that you've created and pull it through. Like that. I'm having a hard time. And that's basically what it should look like when you're done. And a lot of people, when they have a lot of extra stuff here, they'll tuck it under the cheek strap right there, but I don't have enough to really do that. But if you do it like this in real life, it will not come undone unless you purposely, all you have to do to untie this is push these together to where it'll loosen up, and you pull it out like so. So that's how you tie a real life rope halter. I just felt like I had to exaggerate that a little bit because I see a lot of people doing that incorrect. Now there is a very similar way you could tie this where you basically do what I just told you, but you tie it in the opposite direction. But the reason that would be wrong is because this would be facing towards the horse's eye, which obviously, like I said, on a toy figurine, this isn't really essential, but on a real life horse, you would not want this pointing towards the horse's eye. So I decided to use black as my string. Everyone's measurements are going to be different. So, but if you wanted to know my measurements exactly, I have about 32 inches right here, which who knows if this will even be enough. But you'd rather have, you know, too much than too less. So the first thing you want to do is connect the two ends of your string. And then this part up here is what's going to be your nose band. So I'm just going to close off a little part right here and put it around my horse's nose. And I want there to be some slack down here a little bit, just like a real rope halter. I don't want my knot to be, you know, right at the bottom. So I'm gonna say probably right about here. And I'm gonna hold it in place right here. And then I'm going to make a loop like this and hold both of these in place. Then I'm gonna make another loop and put it through that loop. So I don't want to tighten this yet because I want to measure it on my horse. And my horse's head is at a very odd angle, of course, so this is going to be more difficult. But I'm just going to, this loop right here is where you're going to be tying your lead rope to. And then this in the middle is the knot, and this is the noseband. So I'm trying to manipulate this up to make the noseband smaller. And then this is probably one of the longest processes when you have to make things smaller when they end up large like this. So I'm gonna fiddle with that a little bit. And I know this seems a lot larger than it was before. Yeah, so that's way too long. So I just have to keep messing around with this until I get it in the position I want it to be. So after messing with it for a little bit, this is about the position where I want my place where I connect my lead rope to be. So our next step is we're going to make, it's not the cheek strap, but there's a little knot that goes right under here. So that's the part we're going to be making next. So this is where you're gonna have to have this on your horse to measure about where you would want that knot to be. So I'd say I'd want mine about right here. And I'm gonna leave my finger there to mark it and make a knot right there. Now I am totally terrible at knots, so just bear with me. But basically, I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing I did before. Make a little loop. See, I'm really, really bad at this. I should be the last person making a tutorial on how to tie knots. Don't mind this part. So I'm making a knot right here, putting these two through to make a knot. I want to pull it down because I don't want it that high up. So right here is about exactly where I personally want my knot to be, and my noseband is going to be higher up, like a normal halter. So I want that knot to kind of be right there. So next what we're going to do is we're going to separate these two, kind of like their reins. And this one's going to be left off to the side for a little bit, just like that. We're just going to throw that out of the way. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make that loop that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, where you tie and untie the rope halter to put it on a horse and to take it off. So to do that, we're essentially going to be making the same loop that we made down here. So that way there's a loop left over that's accessible for us to use. So I'm going to point out where do I want that loop to be. And usually this loop to tie your rope halter is near the horse's ear. So I want my loop to be right about here, right about this ear. I'm holding my other string in the back so that it's all kind of in place as if, you know, the rope halter was done. So now I'm going to take it off, hold this loop in place. I think what we're going to do is put it through here. All right. And then make another loop and put it inside of there and pull. And there we go. I don't want this loop to be that big though. It doesn't really need to be that big. And like I said, you're gonna have to keep messing with it to get it to where you want it to be. So we put that on the horse, and this is a little higher up than I anticipated, so I'm gonna have to keep messing with it. Alright, so I got this in about the exact position that I want it to after messing it with a while. So the next thing we're gonna do is be making the strap that goes right here and the knot that goes right on the nose for a pressure point. So to do that, we're gonna want to mark where we want it. I want mine, they're usually higher up here. You wouldn't really see them around where you put a bit. They're usually right around the facial nerves. So all I did was put this string under the noseband right here. And I want to mark where I want that knot to be. So I'm gonna mark this, take it off, and we're just gonna be making a little knot right there like we've been doing. And to do that, make a little loop like this, put it through the loop, pull.
You make a loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking cool. You go over and back.
That SpongeBob song has been stuck in my head this entire time making this. So now I'm going to put it back on my horse and measure it and see if it's in about the position that I want it to be, and it's not. That is way too loose. So I'm just gonna have to keep adjusting it again. You're gonna be doing a lot of adjusting with this. Alright, so that's kind of where I want to have mine, and to make this even more realistic, you can double knot this because usually these knots around the nose are more prominent and more defined, but I honestly don't think I have enough string for that, but if I do, I will definitely go back and do that. The next step and the easiest way to do this is to just wrap this, kind of coil it around the top of the nose band going back and forth, and we're going to make that pressure point knot on the nose band on the other side of the halter. 2 knots here. Then we're going to bring in the string that we set off to the side. And that is when we're going to make a knot. So guys, since I did end up running out of string on the other side, I just uncoiled it and cut it off. To attach a new string, I'm just gonna grab a new piece of black string and tie the knot here where the nose piece is, and then continue with what I was telling you guys before. Okay, so the very last thing you want to do is take these 2 strings and we're just gonna make a loop again, like so, and you're gonna take the 2 ends of these strings and just put them through the loop. Here's one of them. I'm doing one at a time because one is much longer than the other. Or put them in like so, and just pull through. Now on the other side we have our horse, and this is where we attach and detach the rope halter. So I'm gonna tie it like a regular rope halter, and then I'm gonna cut off whatever amount that I want, that I feel like I want to keep on my halter or I want to take. So after I pulled it through the loop, I'm just gonna trim mine a little bit. I'm probably gonna leave, let's see, I'm probably gonna cut it about right here. And that, guys, is basically how you make a rope halter.